Hey kids, there are two things the Camaro man lacks. His Camaro and your hot mom. But there's one thing Camaro man hates, and that's drugs. And raccoons. Little bastard stole my steak-'em sandwich off the kitchen counter. You know the Camaro man doesn't need crack cocaine to enjoy himself. Maybe a handle of whiskey every night to calm the nerves, but never crack cocaine. Sometimes I'll enjoy a cigarette with a couple of glasses of wine out the veranda, but never crack cocaine. I'll take a drag from some PCP if it's free and someone's offering, but in the words of our illustrious First Lady Nancy Reagan, just say no to drugs, unless they're free. And even if they're free, they're bad. Like those damn sandwich-eating, stealing raccoons. So be like the Camaro man, kids, and say no to drugs, and say yes to your hot mom.
This was brought to you by Parents Against Drugs.
Pad?
Well, I didn't see you suggest a better name at last meeting, Dennis.
Excuse me, do you mind if I join you? Are you sure you don't mind? You're absolutely sure I'm disturbing you?
Would you like to know more?
Hello and welcome to the Mental Suppository. I'm Bret Hurholtz.
I'm Andrew Shanley.
I'm Jamie Billings.
And while the thoughts are still fresh in our head, we're going to be talking about our experience at Fan Expo Boston.
Fan Expo
past week.
2022.
And
August 12th.
And we had an amazing time. And I think before anything else, we should give a shout out to Pink Taco in Boston, who we had an amazing meal there.
It was also the closest walk.
Yep. And it was just one of those things we found by accident, but it just ended up being really
just walking
great.
past it and saying, what is this place? Let's go see if we can get in.
Because we don't
were
feel like
able to
walking
get
any
in.
further.
We were able to get in, and it was fantastic.
I mean, we were just at that point, we were just kind of all spent because we had been walking inside the convention hall for about, 4 hours at that point?
It was up to 4 hours, close to 4.5, yeah.
And
then
they
we
had
also had to walk back to the car.
And they knew how to feed 4 hungry middle-aged men.
Exactly. So we all got cosplayed up,
Yep.
except for, unfortunately, Wayne, who is not here tonight to tell us about his experience.
And so we're going to get into all of that right after our listeners hear about a movie that's coming out this summer.
Oh?
This summer, a comedy with so many laughs in it, you think it's criminal. Let's not screw up these cushy jobs we got with the FBI.
Where are they sending us?
To raid some country club.
Swell. Maybe I can work on my golf game while I'm there.
Now, this is no time for jokes.
No time for jokes? Have you seen my golf game?
It's Bing Crosby and Bob Hope in The Road to Mar-a-Lago. Sir, we're going to have to take you in on criminal charges.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Wait a minute. You're wrong. You're wrong. Wait a minute. You can't charge me.
But we found all these documents.
Wrong. Fake documents. Besides, you can't arrest me. I'm the president.
But Junior, you lost the election.
Wrong. All lies of the mainstream media. I won that election. I'm still president.
That's just stupid.
Wrong. You're stupid.
Well, if you're still president, I guess you won't be able to run in 2024.
I plead the fifth.
The Road to Mar-a-Lago, coming to a grand jury near you. Okay. So this has actually been the first big convention we've done because they haven't had any big conventions yet.
Nope.
This is for the last couple of years. It hasn't been for me. I've gone to a couple of big conventions like Boston Comic Con, and I did Anime Boston one year, but this is the first time in 5 years I've probably gone to
at
a
least,
Boston convention. Yeah.
It was so many people, very packed.
It was a lot of people. I'd say there was at least at least 5,000 or 6,000 people.
Oh gosh,
place.
It was a lot more packed than I expected it to be. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I just you get the feeling people are just so hungry for this and just probably feeling cooped up all the heck. So,
Well, not only that, but conventions, especially comic conventions, allow so many people of so many different fandoms to kind of come together.
Oh, absolutely.
And you saw so much of so many different varieties of fandoms out there. It really was humbling to be like, wow, that's from that show, and that's from this movie, and that's from that.
And that's the nice thing about it. And we had one Starship Trooper.
Yeah.
And he got constantly called out.
That was great.
That was the best part.
People awesome. Yelling lines.
Everyone coming up to me and being like, are you going to do your part? And stuff like that. Yeah, that was really cool.
Do you want to know more?
That was the best part when you yelled that.
Coming up, when I would yell out, I was actually quite loud, and I didn't realize when I yelled out, "Would you like to know more?" Like I heard most of the place kind of hush for a second or two. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm kind of loud."
That's okay. Nobody seemed to mind it.
I know it was part of the role. It was supposed to be loud.
Oh, people got a kick out of it. That's the thing.
And I got a couple of people came by and asked for some pictures. So that was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. And just like you, Bret, you dressed up as your Doctor Who. There was quite a few other doctors that were there.
There were a lot of doctors.
I think my favorite, and I'm going to have Bret continue to describe it, was the Doctor from Another Dimension.
Yes, that was fantastic.
Please, because when I was just standing next to Bret, and this gentleman came up, and
this young gentleman
started laying down this story, and here you go.
Yeah, so he came up with his friend, and he was kind of dressed in amalgamation of, I think, like David Tennant and Matt Smith, because he had like the bow tie, and he had like the tweed coat and the fez. He was also wearing kind of a stylish, I think it was like a purple Charlie Brown sort of shirt. And he just started, talking like he's like, I'm my own incarnation of the Doctor, a future parallel dimension incarnation. So immediately I was taken by that, because I love it when people come up with their own original version of the Doctor.
Yep.
It's something that's not not one of the here I am, this old fart cosplaying Patrick Hunt's Doctor, and
the cool part about it is that he introduced himself. He just came running up to you and was like, "You're another Doctor," and I had to began right into the whole story.
And so I had to, of course, get into character saying, "Oh, my giddy aunt," which was a line the second Doctor would say, and we just bantered back and forth. And he had a friend there who was filming the whole thing, so there might be this clip of me online somewhere at some point, bantering with this young gentleman who's got this great, original Doctor Who costume and come up with his own original Doctor. So we're just going back and forth, and it was just a lot of, it was just, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just something I would have, at that age, I probably would have loved to have done too. You're
in one of those TikTok videos now.
Yes.
It probably is, yeah.
Which I'd be very happy to see, so.
We're old men. We don't belong in that talk.
I did the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom indie.
Which not a lot of people do.
No. Well, every indie that I see, whenever I see, is either Raiders, or
Last Crusade.
Or Last Crusade.
Because they usually have another person with them that is portraying the father.
Or,
that's usually how I see it, yeah.
Or they're like trying to be clean and nice indie, or like, not screwed up, or like
no, you were beat down indie. You were
down and dirty indie.
This is me climbing up. I was climbing up
against the back, the blood on the back. You had blood on the face.
I was like the indie that climbs up the bridge and like pulls a rock up and goes, "Oh, hey, how you doing?"
You were the indie that looked like he almost got his heart ripped out. Indie.
Pretty much.
Yes,
pretty much.
And it was awesome.
It was good, and
there weren't many other Indiana Jones. The only other indie that we saw during the time that we were there was a kid who was probably about 10 years old. As he walks
sizing you up.
As he walks by, he gives Andy the up and down, like, not a bad indie, all right.
And I almost wanted to say to him, "You lost today, kid, but that doesn't mean you have to like it."
Exactly. I mean, we did it. We basically when we parked, we actually walked past a park. And I was like, we need to get some.
We all could use our exercise, of course.
Yeah, so I'm like climbing up a jungle gym. I'm on top of the jungle gym there. Wayne took a few photos, which I thought was hilarious.
We got to see the video that he took of you You're running through the park, and you losing the sword out of your bag and everything.
Oh God!
Stuff flying out of your bag.
Yeah, like turn the air, start the plane, Chuck. Start the plane. My hat flies off.
Yeah, big snake your hat flew off.
Yep.
There it is.
Nice. I think we mentioned it the day we went there, but everybody talks about how much they love Halloween, and Halloween's their favorite holiday because they get to dress up. Well, Comic-Con for people is like Halloween at certain times of the year where you get to dress up.
Or Fan Expo.
Yeah, or Fan. Yeah.
Any type of comic type convention, fan convention, collectibles convention. You get to, anybody that says that they love Halloween, this is their chance to actually prove it.
You get to immerse yourself in a favorite character. And, it's just like so many of the costumes we saw that day were just so amazing. I mean, a lot of were. I mean, we get there and there's this guy on stilts doing Jack Skellington. And you're like, holy crap mackerel.
Yep.
Yeah. He was over 6 feet tall. The first thing that we saw when we came walking around that corner before we went into the convention center was Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You expect
we're in for a good time.
La.
It felt like every single.
I walked around the corner. I should have said, "What is this?"
I think one of the things about being at a convention, especially Fan Expo, was every time we turned a corner, it was always like, "Oh my God, look at this!" Because they'd have, especially with the movie cars, like we turn the corner and there's the Batmobile. Turn a corner. There's Jurassic Park vehicles.
There's
another corner.
Gotham PD with our friend Matches.
I know. Matches Malone was there.
The Toy Story pizza wagon was there.
Pizza wagon was there. I mean,
Gotham PD. The Gotham PD. The 66 Batmobile.
Oh, yeah. This is like a slightly smaller version of the 66 Batmobile.
I think it's full size.
Oh, is it? Because it looked like a bit smaller than some of the cars I've seen in the past.
It's actually, I think it's an actual licensed replica.
No, I'm not saying that is a bad thing. For like conventions like this, that's probably an easier type of car.
That was a big car.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I
don't even know. I mean, like, how can you tell?
If you've seen the old pictures of the Lincoln Futura, which the Batmobile is based on, that was a boat of every car back in the 50s.
It was long, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every car
didn't exactly make them small.
I mean, the 50s, 60s, 70s, cars were the size of a house.
They all had V6 engines for a reason.
Hey guys, let's burn a whole bunch of gasoline now because who cares about the future?
It's 10 cents a gallon. Who cares?
The 70s, because we feel that way.
By the time our kids have to deal with it, they'll be driving plastic cars.
They run on water, man.
Right, Doc Brown.
Unreal.
But again, it was like a lot of the.
But
some of the original cosplays where people put twists, like women dressing up as their favorite doctor, which they didn't necessarily have to dress up as the current Doctor Jodie Whittaker. They dressed up as their favorite, like
you got to meet a girl that was dressed up as Tom Baker Doctor.
Yes, and another one who was dressed like David Tennant. And
that's what I was going to ask.
Great costumes.
And not only that
was pretty cool.
It's not just Doctor Who, but like a lot of women do gender bend the cosplays. There was one girl that was doing a Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
I missed that.
And
I didn't see that.
It was when she's wearing the vest that that Eddie Munson gives him because he's completely naked. And so, like, she's just wearing it with, like, gauze, like she just got attacked by all the bats in the show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I was, like, really kind of impressed with that. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And
the female Jack Skellington, the one with the contacts in her eyes.
Yes.
And the fingers.
The articulated fingers.
The salad really fingers she had.
I mean, one of the big moments. One of the big moments of the convention, I think, has to be... and it's all an organic experience.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that I really kind of was really blown away by was the League of the Spider-Men.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. It seemed like there was some type of spider sense because every single Spider-Man seemed to come around the corner. Spider-Men. and gather into this big circle. It started, I remember we saw the meme start with just the 4 guys pointing at each other like, hey, you're Spider-Man, you're Spider-man, you're Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and before we knew it, there were 20 Spider-Men.
Oh, there must have been at least. And then there was a little kid that got dressed up as Spider-Man, just a regular Spider-Man.
The one,
and like
the
parents are like,
was the
they're like trying to get the
kid
mask.
Who was Spider Noir.
Spider Noir. There was a kid that was Spider Noir.
Was the kid dressed as a Spider-Man, or was he dressed as Spider-Ham?
There was a Spider-Man kid, and then there was a Spider-Ham. I mean, there's all varieties everywhere, and like all the other like a bigger Spider-Man, like come on in, like, and these kids are like, I don't know about this.
They also, they seemed very nervous at first, but
they get into it, and the camaraderie of these cosplayers is absolutely insane.
I'm kind of wondering if I remember being that age and being, that fear is like, if I go in there, are other people going to start laughing at me? Because it's like, you don't know if that's what they deal with in school. But then to actually be accepted and have these people say, come on, we're having a great time and join us,
No, we didn't really have that much.
No, gosh.
For us growing up in central Massachusetts, we didn't really, you dress up anytime other than the night of Halloween. You dress up, you're a weirdo.
Look, let's be perfectly honest. Remember the SNL sketch that had like William Shatner in it?
Yes.
And he's like at a convention and he had all the nerds.
Yes.
And he's like, I just want to know, get a life. Like
guys,
that was what we had to grow up with.
Oh yeah.
Back then. And today, obviously, that was like what, 35 years ago that was going on?
Yeah.
Or more. Yeah. But like now, like you look at like today, you get a comic convention going everywhere, like anywhere in the country. There's like 4 or 5 of them like happen in the summer, happen in the winter, happen in the spring. You have King Richard's Fair, you have all these different places, the avenues for people to craft and create their own characters and create their own costumes. And we didn't have that growing up. Like if we had something like this growing up, I think that, I personally would have felt a lot more comfortable being.
Oh, heck yeah.
I was in, because, I basically was like a metalhead to kind of cover up, the fact that I was like into that sort of stuff. I would wear the Metallica t-shirt or like the Megadeth t-shirts or whatever to cover that up, or wear the leather jacket and kind of be like Eddie. But like, really I'm into nerdy shit like this. But just like Eddie. Just like Eddie. Like, I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, but because like everybody was like, oh my gosh, Dungeons and Dragons causes Satanism.
Oh, the satanic panic.
The satanic panic of all that. So, I mean, like, we grew up in a much different time. Those kids that were Spider-Men in that group and literally just kind of joined in like their own freaking Spider League or whatever.
League of Spider-Men.
And they had every variety. They had
League of Amazing Spider-Man.
The League of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, nice. I like that.
They had a Doctor Strange Spider-Man. They had Venom Spider-Man. They had Spider Noir. They had all the variety. I mean,
there was a girl dressed up as Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Exactly. Cool. You had like,
one or two Gwen Spiders. Yeah.
And like, that kid is going to grow up remembering that moment for the rest of his life. And it's going to like leave an indelible mark of, I'm part of a group, I mean, like all these kids like, well, what did you do this summer? I was Spider-Man and I joined a bunch of Spider-Men at a convention.
Here, let me show you all the pictures.
Here's the video.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, yeah. But I mean, also just some of the ingenuity and craft of some of these costumes, because a lot of them were made by the cosplayers there. I mean, one of our friends of the podcast, Carly Wynn, makes a lot of her own cosplay costumes, and there's a lot of people there that do that, and they look just as good, if not better, than some of the ones you get off the websites. Although I have to admit, I don't have any skill in needlework or crafting, so I get it off the website.
I would say that a lot of these cosplayers, when they get into building their own costumes, they do much better. Some have even done better than the actual movie studios that create the original costumes for the movies themselves. And when you see what they can do with craft foam and glue and all the little things that they do just to make sure, like even just to get like details like embroidery on like the sleeves or whatever, right? You know, like
they're online searching for all the photos that they can find to get the accurate, intricate detail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just like you.
Well, with me, like it was a little bit. I think that honestly, and I made the joke all day, is that the worse I looked, the more authentic my cosplay was.
Right?
Because the
sweatier you got, the better.
The sweatier I got, the hotter it was. And I was like,
could you hand over a sloppy Joe? I could use that on that.
I mean, I literally took my shirt. I took the shirt. I just cut off the sleeve. I ripped up the back. I went out in the backyard of my house. I just took the shirt and rubbed it in the dirt for like a good 20-30 minutes. My wife was like looking at me like, what are you doing? And like,
it's for my costume.
It's for my costume. It's for my costume, honey.
She immediately goes, oh, I understand.
Okay, fine. And like, you just get a little bit of brown.
Whatever, your dinner's getting cold.
Touch it up. And then of course, like the hat, I had like, I get this indie hat. I got a couple of them.
Yeah,
you had a good indie hat.
Oh yeah, that was a great. Rubbing it on the ground, and she's like, "What are you doing to your nice hat?" Like,
I'm getting into character.
Honey. This is the character hat, honey. Don't worry about it. And she's like, "Okay," and it's just all the different things, like getting the holster and getting the pouch and the whip, and of course,
let's talk about the whip here for a second.
Oh, yes.
What some of our listeners should know is that Andy is actually quite skilled with a whip.
Yes, I am, ladies. Watch out.
And not in a fuzzy grape sort of way.
Yeah, he can totally do a thundercrack on that thing.
Gosh.
It is super cool.
It makes you jump out of your shoes.
I said to myself, like, if I'm gonna do Indiana Jones, I gotta crack a whip. So I actually got myself a nice 10-foot long bull whip, first bull whip I ever bought, and I said I'm just gonna learn how to crack this thing. And yeah, it's not exactly the safest thing to learn. Like
that whip.
It's not exactly the smartest thing to do. But
you didn't end up like River Phoenix in that one scene where he gets himself in the chin.
There were a couple times where it hit me in the back.
Oh.
But the thing about it was I always wore the leather jacket and I always put the hat on.
Good.
Yeah.
Because it did actually protect, so that's why. But when I started doing the cracks, and I was able to actually finally do it right. And then of course I did like the cattleman's crack, there's flicks, and then there's the sidearm, and then there's the backhand, and of course there's the over the hand flick. And
you see what you need to understand that there's many different methods.
And so Jamie and Wayne are like, we got to do a slow-mo video of you doing your whipping. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, just stay back. And like, I just do a few whip cracks in front of Jamie's house, and whoosh, and you gotta understand, this thing is like as loud as a gunshot.
Yes, the last one that you did was rather close to me and really rung my ears. Like I felt the air around me just I felt the vibration of it.
Yep.
And all the neighbors were really going like, what the crap?
They come outside. Why is Indiana Jones out there? What?
He looks all
to the Temple of Doom.
One neighbor looks out and goes, why is Indiana Jones from the Last Crusade out there? Someone smacks him. That's from Temple of Doom, you idiot.
Turn in your nerd card. But yeah, so like, the other thing too is like I was in the convention looking for a machete similar to the one in Temple of Doom. And like they had all these different foam sword vendors and everything else like that. So I got a foam sword. It looked like Sting from like Lord of the Rings, but it's a really nice one.
Yeah.
And then I found an actual machete that's in black polyurethane plastic.
It's really good.
It's really nice.
Super sturdy.
Plus, you get all these like, props like this sucker here, the DL-44.
For people who can't see this because it's audio, the Han Solo gun,
made of foam, actually. So it's but it's like weathered and it looks super cool.
Oh yeah, it looks really nice.
Legit. You can put this in a holster and it'll be awesome.
You could shoot Greedo with it. Batteries not included. Nor is Greedo.
But you know, like that's the thing about it. It was just such a wonderful experience. It was great. I can't wait for Super Mega Fest because I have another massively awesome cosplay prepared for that.
What about the Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm gonna see if I can do that one.
That one I think we definitely should do because it's a good convention. It's a big convention like Fan Expo Boston, but I feel like it's definitely has a lot more going on with cosplay as well. All the cosplayers seem to really flock to that one, and you also get some great guests. Actually, when Sydney and I went a few years ago, Scott Ian from Anthrax was one of the guests.
Yes.
So actually,
I'm the man.
So
I am the man.
So we got to walk up and we chatted with Scott Ian for a little bit because Sydney had gone to one of the concerts Anthrax had did in the area back in I think 94 or 95.
Yeah, your wife is badass.
She sure is. But yeah, so one of the other things I was sent to get when I was at Fan Expo was a autograph by Matthew Lewis, who played Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter, because he was one of the guests. Actually, they had some really impressive guests this year. They had him. They had David Tennant, who was, I think, what might have been one of the biggest draws there. They also had Obi-Wan himself, Ewan McGregor, or if you're older like us, Renton from Trainspotting.
There's also
the spirit of Alec Guinness behind him.
Yeah. And you had the Hobbit reunion, which you had
and all the Hobbits were there. Yeah.
Yep. I actually got to see Billy Boyd. He was walking back to his table, and people like Billy, and he just kind of smiled and waved at people. And Will Friedle,
hello.
Will Friedle walked by me in line. And
I wanted to see Will Friedle.
It's funny because the guy standing next to me, all of a sudden he just goes, "Feeney!" And Will just kind of looks over and he just starts laughing. And I mean,
come on.
The guy's girlfriend.
He was Corey Matthews, man. He was everybody's cooler older brother.
And I mean, he was Batman too, or Batman 2.0.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Eric Matthews. Yeah, he was everybody's cooler older brother and Batman. And he was mainly there because he does a voice on Kim Possible. So he was there with the other star. And let's see, there was also Giancarlo Esposito was there.
Yep.
He was another pretty big draw. Anthony Daniels was there, so it's very, very Star Wars centric when you think about it.
Oh yeah, well the 501 tends to is one of the big cosplay groups that are there, and they usually have a great setup.
Didn't they have stuff there? Yeah.
Yep, they had that whole little like the I think it was like the Book of Boba Fett throne was there, which Andrew sat in.
That's the one that Andy sat in.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I sat in. I had my little DL44 little thing with it too as well. So,
and of course somebody parked their Dalek somewhere, so we had to get pictures around that.
Dude, I'm gonna say right now, your doctor was spot freaking on.
Oh, thank you.
Your doctor was spot freaking on, and we have some videos of you doing your doctor thing, and holy crap, man! I mean, honestly, those videos look like they're right out of the BBC. I
hadn't seen the one that Wayne had taken of me looking into the eye stalk of the Dalek, but one of my friends who does a great John Pertwee cosplay actually said I had made some very Troutian looking faces because I was doing.
Really?
He does that kind of. He says does that kind of scowly face look, which I tried to do like the smile when I was standing next to our friend who does the Alice cosplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I had to do, the kind of naughty smile because I seem to have fallen down the rabbit hole, but this nice young lady will help me around.
If we do
the thing I thought was cool was the Dalek that we were standing next to.
Yes, that was a really good looking Dalek.
We were standing next to the Dalek and we were like, wow, this thing is really awesome. Next thing you know, somebody comes by, opens the lid, gets in, closes the lid, and the damn thing drives off.
Well, I think there's somebody in the mall.
I thought it was just supposed to be there as like presentation.
Oh, so did I. I didn't realize it was part of somebody's costume.
It was their costume.
That's the thing about it. Without really kind of now, there's actually like a group that actually does that. They actually have like a whole like Dalek squadron practically, and they have different ones.
There was a guy I think in Marlborough. I don't know if he lives in Marlborough, Northborough, but he makes his own Daleks. And I can't remember if he was at Massive Con or or at Super Mega Fest, but he actually has like inside the Dalek the voice changer thing where you can speak into the microphone and make yourself sound like a Dalek.
I remember
as a kid that used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid.
It was very
when
disconcerting.
When I did like Massive Comic-Con, that's where he was, and there was a bunch of them, and they like literally did a parade in front of like inside these youth centers, like literally just driving these things around, and like they had like a little convoy of like Daleks.
We got a Dalek convoy.
Dalek convoy. Da, 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 da.
Exterminate
Dalek.
There you go. That's actually there was looking at.
You asked for the tagline, Andy. I gave it to you.
Actually, looking at the pictures afterwards, there was another cosplay that amused me. A woman did a really good dark helmet.
Yes, the dark helmet lady was awesome, and she was so happy to like let us like take pictures with her. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that somebody like knows that what I am." And I'm like, "How could nobody not know who you are?"
I mean, of course, like, you know, merchandising. You're like walking in, like literally doing that.
That was the first thing we all said.
Oh, absolutely.
It's how the money of the movie's made.
Well, no, I think I said where the money for the con is made.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so much merchandising. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, like, you know, like when people who have never been to a convention before, if you're ever going to be dressing up in a costume or anything like that, they always have the weapons check. They have to check your stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of a joke a little bit.
For me, same thing for me. I had my my giant rifle Merida. Well, you know, 3D printed fake, you know, Merida. Thanks, Wayne. And I don't have it anymore.
No.
But anyway, I went up to the security check and, you know, just gave it to the guy. Although mine, you know, immediately when I handed it to him, you could tell it wasn't real. You know, it weighs like nothing. So he was
exactly.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like they just did like a quick check to be like, look, man, there's a bunch of nerds around here. They ain't gonna start shit.
The one thing that I do have to say was kind of crazy was when Wayne actually he buys a foam sword.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this actually this turned out to be pretty cool.
This was kind of crazy. So I'm with Wayne, and he's like, he's gonna buy a foam sword.
A Conan.
Well, first of all, he makes a rookie mistake because as we were walking into the convention, no more than 10 feet into the convention floor, he stops and goes, "I want to buy something."
Yeah,
rookie move, man. You do that later on the way. You do that later or on the way out, you know. So, exactly. So Bret and I, after we first get into the convention, we go around the corner and we're like, where is everybody? We're like, and then we see Andy. Andy's like, Wayne's buying something. We don't both just do like, what the fuck? All right, whatever.
Well,
so now, anyway, yeah, continue.
So he's buying this Conan sword. It's a foam replica Conan sword. And it wasn't too expensive. It was like $35, I think he said he bought for. And
like a standard foam cosplay prices, $40 or so for a sword. Yeah.
I mean, there were some foam swords there that were a lot more money, that were like 195 or 150. Some were really nice that came with like a scabbard and everything else like that. That actually is a pretty good price for Conan, for what was there. And I bought a sword as well for like $40. But the thing about it is that the guy on the floor is like, well, I can't give this to you because, you know, security or whatever. So I'm going to give you a claims ticket. And after the convention, you can pick it up at the desk over there.
Which at first I thought was weird because I'm like, wait a minute. It's a foam sword.
I know.
That everyone else has, and they're walking around. Like, you bought a foam sword and you walked away. Like, so I'm like, what's the big deal about this?
I think it was just because that guy was being a little more stringent than the other person I bought from.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They were like, just put it in your belt or whatever. Just keep it out of the way. And I was like, all right. So that's
just don't fake stab people with it.
Just don't swing it around. Don't be like a jackass.
Yeah.
Fake stab people.
Stabby. You know, hey, Momala, prepare to meet Kali in hell. You know, do that sort of thing. I wasn't going to do that. So
this is an audio podcast, so let's do motions.
Exactly. You know the same.
This is what we're doing. We're
theater in your mind. Theater of the mind.
The theater of the mind. So So after the convention, Wayne goes to pick up his sword, which is in a box. And so like he gives the guy his ticket, he gets his box, and we walk out. And as we're walking out, we didn't open it up, we didn't take a look at it.
Well, I think because we were distracted, because as we're walking out, not only did we see more people with like other cool costumes, I was getting called to take photos with stuff.
Yeah,
Wayne was helping out to take the photos for people, and someone else asked Bret to take a. I mean, we were getting kind of distracted as we were getting.
Oh yeah, there, absolutely.
So we get in the car, we drive all the way back to Jamie's house. We open up the sword. We take a look at what he got. And
I was dying to look at it. I had to see.
I hadn't seen it either. So
it was a different sword.
It was not the Conan sword.
It was not a Conan sword. It was not a foam sword either.
It was real.
Yep.
It was a real double-edged, like samurai sword with this like weird like sai kind of thing on the end. It looked kind of strange. Anyways, it was like I guess it was
Wayne's disappointment went to much less disappointment.
I mean,
well, no, at first he was first of all, he was disappointed because he was like, "What? Yeah. Wait a minute! I wanted the Conan sword. Yep. What is this?" And we're like, "Wait a minute, Wayne! This is like a real sheath, and like, this is ting ting ting. This is metal. This is a real sword."
I don't think this is a prop, Wayne.
And he just went, "Oh,
well, I guess I know what I'm going to use for Thanksgiving dinner now."
Pardon me while I cut the carrots.
The kids won't sass me anymore.
Yeah, right. You haven't met his kids.
I just need to trim the hedges now.
Yeah, trim the hedges. But yeah, there was a guy dressed up head to toe as Vecna. That was pretty awesome.
Yep, that was.
That looked like that was a costume made at home, and it was really well done, made at home.
Really, it was skin tight. Really, really cool outfit. I thought that was good. And then right behind Vecna, I got to see out of the corner of my eye walking past was Dr. Doom.
Dr. Frickin' Doom.
And he had real metal on him too, because as he was walking by, I could hear clanking.
Who I feel like is the only villain in the MCU that hasn't appeared yet that I really want to see. I mean, he was
properly.
Exactly. You know,
sadly, the only good Dr. Doom was in that Roger Corman movie that was made in like 1990.
94, yeah.
94. Whatever.
What was his name? Jason Noseworth or something?
Something like that.
Oh, with the foam rubber thing. The guy looked like his whole mask was...
The guy looks like he's like a big
so
sponge.
Anybody that's looking for this, if you just go to YouTube and look up Roger Corman Fantastic Four, you can see the full movie of what they thought superhero movies were going to be.
So it was a tax write-off. There was a way to hold on the rights.
Marvel movies weren't always great, children. They weren't always great.
Well, Case in point, The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
You never heard of that movie?
I'm going to say The Punisher with Thomas Jane would be the one with Dolph Lundgren. Get out of here. That's the best.
We all have our favorites. That's why
there was also we got to mention Samurai Voltron.
Oh yeah, you were telling me. I didn't see this, but you were telling me about this.
This guy.
Oh, the Samurai Voltron. That was an awesome outfit. Yeah, a mixture of.
He mishmashed like a samurai outfit with Voltron, and it looked awesome. Brilliant cosplay.
Like a bunch of broken arrows going into the armor, and the way that it looked like the armor was actually made of like wood, so he made it look like the arrow was piercing through the wood, even though it was like foam. Yep. And he looked at his hands, and his hands were the lions. And he had a mask too with him that I saw him wear. But when he was walking around, he was talking to a bunch of his friends and stuff, so he didn't have the mask on. But that was a pretty cool outfit too.
Also, a few Jessica Rabbits there.
Yeah. I saw two of them.
And our Facebook friend and guest Gary K. Wolf tends to like to post different Jessica cosplays on his site, and all of them are always very interesting and very unique. And these ones, Andrew got to pose with the Jessica.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who doesn't want to be? I mean, honestly, one of the things about cosplaying is that you don't have to be exactly the same physique as the character to be the
Absolutely
character.
not.
and everybody is like their own version of it, and it's like a multiverse, you know, like especially like the Spider-Man thing. Like I was blown away, but like everybody can be Spider-Man.
Yep.
Like, you know.
Yeah, there was Spider-Man of all different shapes there. There really were.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was competent in their own right.
We had Deadpools there. We had Harleys there. We had all kinds of different types of anime characters there. Yeah. The anime characters are really starting to be the more popular ones with the younger kids.
Well, I know when I was teaching at the art museum, I mean, that's like something, even though the young boys tend to latch on to the superhero comics, anime has definitely been kind of an outlet for a lot of was a great outlet for a lot of the young girls in my classes who weren't necessarily into superhero comics, who found, they really connected with these stories. So you're seeing that a lot now, especially in cosplay, where it's like, no, you don't have to dress like a superhero. You don't have to dress like the Punisher. You can dress like Yu-Gi-Oh. You can dress like Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Circus.
Well, there was that one guy that was dressed in that Yu-Gi-Oh outfit with the big blue hair, and he's
my god,
like he looked like he came out of like the comic book.
That dude was giant,
and he was
like probably 0.002% body fat. That bastard.
I also posed with that guy that was doing a really decent fourth Doctor. He actually looked a little like him too.
That's right.
He had the right
You
height.
got jelly babies, man.
I got jelly babies twice. Right. And that's something I got to remember in the next cosplay. One, I got to learn how to play the recorder, because the second Doctor, that's his thing, is he played the recorder. Mm-hmm. And two, I need a bag of jelly babies next time I go. So, but yeah, I got to have an orange jelly baby and black currant, which are my favorite flavors. So
just make sure they're not like, dropping acid on those jelly babies, because then like,
the
doctor's going to be taking a trip.
Well,
trip through time, man. You'll wake up next week.
And I think we should also mention a lot of great artists there too.
Amazing artists.
There was a lot
Artist
of like
Alley was pretty cool.
A lot of great local people who are just trying to get their work out, that everybody should be checking them out. And I should mention to people out there, if you're at a convention and you happen to be talking with your friends, don't stand in front of an artist's table. That's probably the rudest thing you could ever do. Don't block their table, because they're trying to sell their stuff. And a lot of these people, this is their bread and butter. So just keep that in mind when you're at a convention. And the other thing,
yeah, you prick.
I would say simply add, like, when you're at a convention, like, start out with a smaller convention, because when you get to the bigger ones, they can be a little claustrophobic.
Oh, heck yeah.
Well, that's why I can actually thank Bret for this, because he started taking me to the one in Boxborough. The one that Gary does.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of on the smaller side.
I got to push your bike with the training wheels on it.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I'm on my own now.
But actually, I'd be remiss if I wasn't mentioning that they were, the big name artists that were there were pretty impressive. Simon Bisley, who did the Lobo and Judge Dredd comics, who is a phenomenal artist, but also the great Frank Miller was there.
Yep. And not only that, but also,
and he had a line going all the way,
Oh yeah.
Out the other end.
I would have scheduled something. Yeah. I would have found my way to like Disney Fast Pass that shit and made my way to the front of the line.
Well, if we end up doing Rhode Island, I'll see if he's going to be. I'll check the site, see if he's going to be there, because I wouldn't mind meeting him too. I mean, the guy. It's like, here's a guy who his artwork was rejected by Neil Adams, and because he just felt his work wasn't good enough. And here's this young kid who could probably say, "Screw you, old man, you don't know me." But he actually said, what can I do to make my work better? He's like, I don't know. And Neil's like, I don't know. And he ends up pawning him off to eventually, because Frank Miller kept on pestering him, he pawns him off to this, some artist or editor at Marvel Comics, and they actually loved his work. And, later in life, Neil says, he goes, I was never more wrong in my life. I mean, it's like, I'm not always right about these things, but, I just thought his work wasn't that great. But obviously, there are other people that thought it was. And I mean, look at the stuff he did. Daredevil, he did Sin City, but most, noticeably Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, which is still one of the most, probably one of the most copied graphic novel, at least in the movies, most of the recent
for like
Batman,
the tone.
Yeah. Most of the recent Batman movies, from like even the Zack Snyder to the Christopher Nolan ones, have all sort of in some way or another had that kind of feel of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns. I mean, you look at Ben Affleck and the armored suit that was taken almost note from the Superman Batman fight scene from Dark Knight Returns, and I can honestly say the one from Dark Knight Returns is a lot better.
We don't want to get people writing nasty comments about anything, Bret.
I know. But I mean,
you're right. I thought it was better too.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
And they all stink.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I did a few of the, before it got big, I did a couple of the Boston Comic Cons in the past, and they've had some phenomenal artist guests. I mean, I got to shake Bernie Wrightson's hand one year.
Yep.
Who is probably one of the greatest horror comic artists, out there. He did stuff like Swamp Thing to Batman to Dead Man. And also got to meet the great Carmine Infantino, who, was the one who originally revitalized Batman in the 1960s. And when he was editor, was the guy who hired Neil Adams. So,
yep.
It's like, the artist guests have always been pretty good. And it's a hard thing because you can, especially as the conventions get bigger, you can, some of the smaller artists can get kind of lost in the artist alley. And I think they deserve as much recognition and as much notice. I definitely recommend people, if you go to a comic convention, to, go check out your favorite artists. Also, go check out some of the local artists who are just up and coming and give their work a try.
The other thing, too, is we didn't get a chance to really take a look at the other things, but they always have panels. And panels are always good to go to, because sometimes they'll have a panel about cosplay, or they'll have a panel about, comic book artistry and how to get into the business.
Yeah.
Voice acting. I remember when
all the actors that they had doing panels that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, that's what I found out when we were walking upstairs and we went onto the escalator. That's where all the panels were, and we didn't sign up for any of those.
Okay, I thought it was like maybe another cosplay.
So when the guys so for everyone that wants to know, we were like, hey, where do these escalators go? They go up. Okay, fine. So we go on the escalator. The guy at the very top immediately goes, whoa, what are you guys doing here? Because I don't think we had the right tag.
Probably has to deal with this shit all day.
We were just like, we were told there was more stuff up here. And he's like, just panels up here. You don't have any. And so we must not have had the right tags. So he immediately sent us back down. We was like, oh, hey, no problem.
We weren't Lilu Dallas. We didn't have a multi-pass.
No, we did not. We didn't have an auto wash.
We did get to see a Lilu Dallas. Yep, she did have a multi-pass on her.
Oh, multi-pass.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about just the costumes. And like I said, a lot of our friends were there. Matches, Carly Wynn, who we didn't get a chance to see, but I happened to glimpse over. She was working the table with, I forget which group she's with. It's something like, I think.
They're in various groups.
Yeah. But I mean, that's always, it's always great to see like the different cosplayers. You get to suppose with some of the different Batmen and Nightwing, who was kind of giving you the rabbit ears.
Yeah, that was funny.
Mask Mateo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're great. And some of these cosplayers, they actually have a little bit of a following of their own.
Zombie Leader, that was the name. I think that's the group she's part of. So
she's part of, and they actually do a lot of charity work. I think that another thing we should highlight is a lot of these cosplayers, they do stuff for Make-A-Wish. They do stuff for like Autism Speaks. They visit kids in hospitals who are terminal cancer patients. Giving these kids a break from a really rough experience. And like Matches. He'll tell you, Matches Malone, who was a good friend of ours and a friend of this channel, he will tell the story of like what happened when he had a young child that he had visited previously who was dying of cancer. And this kid was literally about to go. And the parents were like, they really need you to be there. And like literally right out of work, he goes home, puts a suit on, drives down there as Batman for this kid. And he tells the kid, you won. And then, like, as he gets home, before he even takes off the mask, he gets the notice that the kid died. But, the kid saw him.
God.
the kid heard him, and that's just an important thing to do. And it's got to be one of the hardest things for any of these cosplayers to do, especially charity stuff with kids. And it's just brilliant what these guys do, and they deserve every amount of credit and respect for what they've done.
And Jamie, you got to brag to your daughter that you and Lisa met Batman.
Oh yeah,
and had a picture with Batman.
We've already got to show her a picture of us with Batman, and Batman is real.
Oh, he's real, all right.
No, she goes, Batman is a real person. Because she sees it on TV. She sees the cartoon.
As real as Sherlock Holmes, kid.
Well, I mean, I can tell the story of my daughter, my youngest daughter, Paige, who was like, I think 9 at the time. And the new Wonder Woman, like the first one with Gal Gadot, came out. And so she was so jazzed about Wonder Woman and everything else like that.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to Northeast Comic-Con, and she had like a cheap, like, store-bought like Wonder Woman costume. And so we're walking around, I'm in my costume, she's in hers, and we're just having a good time. And then right around the corner, here comes Jamie, a friend of ours that is a cosplayer, and she's in her Wonder Woman costume, just like the 2017 movie that she made herself.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you, you looked at my daughter's face, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the real deal right in front of me. And of course, just taking a picture of her with Jamie, she was just blown away. She was blown away.
Did I share with you the picture that I took? My daughter and I took her to the mall a couple weeks back, and we went to Newbury Comics. And there was a picture of the Matt Reeves Batman, Robert Pattinson Batman was a cutout, an actual size cutout. And she immediately ran up to it and was just like, oh, Batman. And I was like, do you want me to take a picture of you with Batman? And she got all shy and put her shoulders up, and she was just like, it was so adorable how much she loves, Batman, Spider-Man. She loves Spider-Man.
You should definitely bring her to Northeast. I'm telling you.
When she gets a little bit older, I was just thinking, like, she's only 4 right now. And if she went to this one with us, her brain would have exploded.
Oh, probably.
No, you want to go to a lower. We want to go. I'd say Northeast is a better one, just because there's enough there, and like matches would be there.
Yeah,
I know it would, and of course there's a bunch of other ones too. So I know she would have a blast.
Well, I know the most fun cosplay experience I had was actually at Rhode Island, where it was the first time I dressed in my old man Luke costume, the white one, and so. Sydney and I are walking through, and I've got the hood up, and I'm deaf as a stump, anyways. So as we're walking, Sydney all of a sudden hears some little girl say, "Hi, Luke," and so she elbows me. She's like, "Bret, turn around." I turn around, and there's this little girl and her dad, and we start talking, and she just and her dad says, "Oh, show him the back of your jacket." On the back of her jacket, it has Rebel Scum on it. So it was cute because it's like, to these kids, it at least as far as she was concerned, I was Luke Skywalker.
I mean, we may not have had that as a kid, but we can kind of see the effect that, we probably would have had the same effect. I mean, it really is funny, but you know what? It's sort of therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's really sort of therapeutic going to these kinds of conventions now.
Well, especially as you get older, you say, well, you can't do Let's Pretend. You shouldn't be wearing costumes. You need to grow up. You need to get a boring job. You need to do this, that, and the other thing. It's like, oh, screw you. I'm going to go be Luke Skywalker if I want to.
Exactly.
I'm going to go be the second Doctor. He's going to go be Indiana Jones, and he's going to go be a Starship Trooper. So screw you. We're going to go have
fun. Harrison Ford can still be Indy at not like 80 plus years old.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Come on.
And afterwards, we're all going to go eat out a pink taco.
Yep.
And I was the only one in costume after that too.
No,
Actually, no. You were in costume too.
Yep.
But I was like,
Brett still let us on. I was only half costume. I just had my boots and the pants.
Well, the vest would have been a little too much. It
was a little too much after 4 hours.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But I just remember, just walking in there, and everybody's like looking at me like, oh my god. Okay, Indiana Jones.
Well, no. As Bret said, there was like a couple people that also showed up. That were sitting outside. That they were from the convention as well. So
I feel like it was within walking distance. It was kind of fortuitous.
It was like the commissary scene from like Blazing Saddles. And there's one guy dressed up like Hitler, and they lose me after the bunker scene.
That was always my favorite scene in the movie.
No, that place was fantastic.
Oh, it was great food, good service. Our server was.
I'll just dress up like Ming the Merciless next time, and I'll say next time we go to get some food, like they lose me after the wedding scene.
So any other thoughts from the show? Oh, what about the Princess Amidala?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, she was beautiful makeup and everything. The dress that went all the way down, and as she was coming
100%.
through, like walking through the crowd, I'm like, this lady's very elegant. She's like she's on a cloud or something. Like I don't even see her swaying from what. Wow, how is she doing this? And then she gets closer, you can realize she's on a hoverboard.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And she was gliding through made it look like she was just floating. Oh, it was almost like ethereal.
And the best part, no Jar Jar Binks to be seen.
Yes. Not one Jar Jar. Good call.
Lisa hates the Jar Jar Binks. Lisa gonna fuck him up.
Lisa, a racist stereotype. But
he's a Sith Lord, so watch your mouth.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I'd forgotten about that.
Right.
He's actually in control of everything.
So I'm thinking, what's next? I think maybe I kind of like I don't know who brought up the idea. I think it was Andrew bringing up King Richard's Fair.
Yes.
I think it was the billboard that we were driving past.
Well, that'll do it too. But I think this is my idea. Take it or leave it. I think we should dress up as the characters from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Because I found a King Arthur costume and I'll buy it.
Wayne can get the coconuts.
Yes.
Nice.
Jamie can be Lancelot. Andrew can be Sir Robin.
We need to get somebody who's like, the old man going, you must answer these 3 questions.
Well, I think Sydney said she'll dress up as the Killer Rabbit.
Oh, she should dress up as the woman who's being like, like with the big carrot on her nose. Or whatever.
The one who's
the witch.
They think is a witch.
Yeah.
But no, I think we should do that. Just go into King Richard's Fair dressed as the Knights of the Round Table.
I was gonna go as Blinken.
Oh,
Men in Tights.
Oh god. Maybe we could dress Indy as Sir not appearing in this film.
I was thinking about just doing
and the
Indiana
name,
Jones,
Sir not appearing
like
in this film,
looking for the Holy Grail or something like that,
which ends up being in Harrods.
And let me guess, Wayne's not going to dress up at all.
Fuck you, Wayne.
Fuck you, Wayne.
That's him.
It's the whole joke of the entire series.
Yeah.
It's the title and the tagline.
Yes.
And the premise.
Yeah.
I just want to be Indy and go to like the King Richard's Fair and say, that belongs in a museum.
To everything. Yeah.
You just run up to like the torture show and, as the guy's like putting attaching stuff to his nipples and stuff, you just say, that belongs in a museum. And the guy's just like, fuck off. You jerk.
Oh, boy.
But we definitely would need a picture of us eating a giant turkey leg, because why the hell not?
It's King Richard's Fair, motherfucker. Yeah. Do it.
I think we definitely should plan a Sunday, just go off to King Richard's Fair and...
oh, God, I'd be there for the mead.
And why? Well, they got the mead,
the wives are going to want to join in.
Oh, yeah.
We have to make a whole day of it.
I'm a princess, too! Don't you think so?
Oh, that's it. Let's all
get
dress
a shot of this for the
That's
website.
it. We'll all dress like princesses for King Richard's Fair.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Just get on like, I don't like spam!
He's not the king! He's a very naughty boy!
Be the old lady from like Princess Bride. Boo! Boo! Boo!
Hell, I think we've got our work made out for us.
Yeah.
But this was this was a good time, gentlemen. And I just,
great.
And even after the fact, I'm finding, as I post stuff online, a lot of the people who, it's like, posting on Instagram, a lot of the people who were there have commented about some of the photos. So
yeah, cool.
Like the kid who was the 14th Doctor says, "Hey, I met you."
See, that's awesome. Yeah.
So a few of the people from it, have liked it, and I actually even took like the picture the video we did of me with the Dalek and did it in black and white to see how it would look.
That photo is choice, man. That photo is the best right there.
No, this was a lot of fun.
I'm glad. It turned out to be really good.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really good day.
Wait, is that the one I made?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think we've talked about everything we're going to talk about tonight, don't you think, guys?
I think so.
All right. Yeah. On behalf of Jamie and Andrew, thank you for listening to the Mental Suppository. Until next time, this is Bret Hurltz saying,
don't be sad. Don't be nervous either. There's no need. We love you just the way you are. Come on in, join the rest of us. We're all in here. Oh, it's going to be a lovely night. You're not the tallest or the strongest or the fastest or the cleverest. Legends last long but not forever, so remember this. We're all together, so don't be frightened. He who knows least is most enlightened. It might be that ignorance is bliss. It's inherently ridiculous we even exist. So why be inconspicuous? A reasonable risk just to give it all in. It's as easy as this. Isn't that all better? Better than a call center till it's all pallbearers? We're all aware of all of life's pleasures and how little time's left. Let's all hoard treasure. Set sail, all crew, all weathers. Odd individuals look awesome together. Everybody gather together. We're gonna have a group shot. Oh yes. Celebrate your oddities, your worth, your sexuality. Celebrate your urges, celebrate humanity. Celebrate your fetishes, my message is clear. There's no such thing as normal, everybody's weird. Celebrate your oddities, your art, your own insanity. Celebrate your birth, celebrate humanity. Celebrate your everything, and let me be clear. There's no such thing as normal, everybody's weird. All in together now. All in together. Don't be beaten by the bullies or the bigots or the bosses or the system or the sods in all their boxes and in offices. Don't let the silly sausages say your mission is preposterous. Accomplish it, and if they demolish it, repolish it. Climb on top, life is yours to conquer. Plant your flag, roar like a monster. Hooray for small joy, rise and shine. Make time for a lion, make time for wine. Make time for fine nights, it's our ship to charter. Nobody's on their deathbed wishing they worked harder. More wagging, less barking, all in the spotlight, none in the margins. More unicorns and a lot less trolls. We'll never rest and we'll never get old. We'll never get gold, but the air's so fresh. Just be you, I'm incredibly impressed. Celebrate your oddities, your worth, your sexuality. Celebrate your urges, celebrate humanity. Celebrate your fetishes, my message is clear. There's no such thing as normal, everybody's weird. Celebrate your oddities, your art, your own insanity. Celebrate your birth, celebrate humanity. Celebrate your everything, and let me be clear. There's no such thing as normal, everybody's weird. Oh yes, you see? There! Feel better, everybody's weird. Everybody has their strange side. Deep inside, none of us really grew up. There's no such thing as a grown-up.
The Mental Suppository has been produced by Bret Hurltz and Jamie Billings.
With that in mind, you take my
and
hand,
distributed by M the Media Project. Theme music generously donated by Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. Visit his webpage at gentlemanrhymer.com. We would love to hear from our fans. Email us at mentalsuppository@gmail.com.
Pretty good.
Good.
Camaros. Get so your Camaros.
That'll be our cold
Camaros. Get your Camaros.
And your hot mom.
And your hot mom.
All right.